What's up guys, my name is Sam, welcome back to another video. Until here for the final reaction video of the F1 2020 cars that were released in these last few days. Probably is not going to be quite the last one. If in the next week we have a radical change of some cars, probably I'm going to do that video just like happened with the Mercedes last year, where in the second week they brought like a B spec car, a second spec car I should say. If that happens this year, probably I'm going to do. But today we're going to do the final one. That is going to be the Renault car, the final one so far, I should say. And they ran with a shakedown livery. That was the livery they're going to use throughout the season. That is the yellow one. But during the test they're going to use the black one. They did this in 2016 when came back to the sport. And I already told that this livery looks good, but just for a testing livery. I think for a season livery, I think it wouldn't look good because all black I think is just dull, and you're hearing a person that black is one of his favorite colors. But technically analyzing this car, there are definitely some changes in the Aero, and I'm going to show you guys today. And we're going to start from the front of the car, and as you can see, a lot of lines already. As you can see in the image, I thankfully I found these images, these side-by-side images on the internet, so I didn't have any work to put the car side by side, but had the work to put the lines as always. So make sure to smash like and subscribe, and if you need to see plenty more Formula 1 content, really motivates me to make more. And I'm going to come back with the gaming content in these next few days. So don't worry if you missed the F1 career, don't worry, because I'm going to come back to the normal format of the channel. But now talking about Renault, I'm going to start with the most noticeable thing, and a design where some teams are using, like the McLaren and the Racing Point and Mercedes as well. That is the nose cone of the car. As you can see, below we have the last year's car, and above we have this year's car that is running at the moment. And as you can see, we have in 2019 Renault a very large nose cone. And now if we pay attention to this year's car, you can see that is so much thinner, and then it stretches a little bit once it gets further closer to the driver's helmet. So, and like I said, many teams like McLaren and Racing Point, Mercedes are using this nose cone design. So there's nothing new, but probably Renault got some inspiration from Mercedes and McLaren, that were the teams that were using this design last year. And then we pass to behind the rear wing, to a place where is the rear wing, I should say, that is highlighted in green. And I'm not entirely sure if this is the T-wing, because the T-wing was a thing I think just from 2017. So I don't believe this is a T-wing. If it was a T-wing, I think it would be above where it should be. I think it was attached to the shark fin when the shark fins were legal in 2017. But as you can see, last year's car is just a little wing, and then it drops a little bit at the end. And then if you look to this year's car, you can see that is a more normal design. Renault is not the only one to adopt this design. That is a novel design, a very curvy one, and it's not just one wing. It's like just two wings in parallel. Then there's a curvy connection, I should say. Probably I'm not being very specific, but I think you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. Now we're going to the other green part of the car. That is the front wing cascades. If you look at the Renault, they are normal, as you can see. But now if you watch to this year's car, you can see that the curves are so much aggressive. You can see that it switches out of nowhere from place to other, and when it comes to the end, you can see that it shapes a lot if you compare to this year's car. And I believe this is not the first time that I'm seeing this. I'm not entirely sure what team I saw this, but definitely a more aggressive design and aggressive approach when it comes to the front wing, and a new design from Renault. Never seen this. I think I only started to see this year. And then we switch to the mirrors. You can see in the last year's car, it has like a mirror that is rounded by a wing that is not quite a wing, And if we take a look to this car, you can see that we have a wing at the top, which now is being very common between the all F1 teams, if not whole F1 teams, almost all F1 teams. And then through the barge board, you can see that definitely is more complex. In last year's car, we just have a vertical, a horizontal column, and now we have a horizontal column as well. But now we have 2 or 3 columns on the vertical. Now we're going to switch to this view. Is the back side, I should say. It's the side of the car, but just a little bit at the back. You can see better the rear wing. As you can see, highlighted in green, you can see another change on the front wing. This time is not on the cascades, is in the end plate, and is a little bit more smoother if we compare to last year's car. It has a very smooth drop, while the last year's car has a very aggressive drop. And then it levels a little bit, and then it drops again. So Renault this year is more aggressive in the cascades, but it seems that is more smoother from my point of view on the end plate of the front wing. Sorry. And then we switch to what is highlighted in red. That are the end plates. Here I found much simpler than last year, and that was really interesting to see. If you take a look to the 2019 Renault, you can see that they have the RS logo, the place where is the RS logo, and then they have like an end plate. I think this is not still the turning vanes. They have an end plate. If we take a look to this year's car, it's definitely much simpler, and there's no gaps, not such thing, and I think has a more homogeneous shape. So. Racing Point took a lot of much simpler Aero once they released the car. We then 2 days later we came to the conclusion that now the story is different. If you haven't watched the video where I analyzed the Racing Point, make sure to check it out, by the way. And then if we take a closer look to the rear wing that is highlighted in blue, I think in terms of being complex, is more than same. The design is different. You have like a gap, sorry, on this year's car, and then in last year's car you have the gaps as well, but they are not quite connected with the rear wing. Is a different design, and you guys can notice that. And finally, we're going to the side part, to the side view of the car. You can see in green once again the nose cone, and from this view. It's not very clear that the design is different, but you can clearly see that the difference is still there. And here the design of the barge boards and of the turning vanes. Jesus, my voice cracked a little bit. Of the turning vanes is definitely so much different. You can see on last year's car above that has where it has the Microsoft logo. You can see that it has like a normal design, a very curvy one. That is connected to the floor. That is very common on the F1 teams nowadays. Now, if we will take a closer look to this year's car, it happens the same, but it has like a winglet, not a winglet, but some kind of a wing that is connected to the barge boards. And here is when the complex parts come, and this may be a reason why the barge board looks so much simpler, because it allows to connect to that little part that is new to the car. And yeah, these were the difference between the Renault from last year and the Renault from this year. Some parts can't be clear because this car is in black, and in my opinion, black is a very good alternative to the camo, because it hides so much curves and some parts of the car that you can see because of that color. And probably we're going to see some things that we missed probably on pre-season testing once we get to Australia. But guys, that has been the video. That has been the all reactions and analysis video of the F1 cars that were released in these last few weeks. And the reception of these videos were absolutely mental. A lot of views and a lot of subs. And what I can say to you guys is thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this content, make sure to stick to the F1 gaming content, where I do F1, F2 career mode, and if I have time, a little bit of online racing. So stick for that. Stay tuned. I'm planning to do some mod videos of the 2020 mod, I should say, once it gets released. Probably I'm thinking the career mode. I have to see if I have time for that, but nonetheless, I want to thank you to every single of you for the support that you guys gave on this analysis. I'm not a pro in these things, because I'm not an engineer, but hopefully next year I'm going to be better, and the analyses are going to be more specific, more technical. But for now, this was the best that I could do. But guys, once again, make sure to smash like, subscribe, and if new to see plenty more Formula 1 content. Really motivates me to make more. If you would like to make a donation to help me out, the link is going to be in the description via PayPal. And I'll see you guys for a brand new video next time. But for now, it's goodbye.